Hi all, Once and Future Gamer here and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time was an interesting run through Pokemon Heart Gold as we sought to see if I could beat it with a team of Oddish and Bellsprout. But today we jump back a generation and head to Hoenn, answering the question of if I can beat Pokemon Emerald with just a single Paris. Now Paris is pretty underwhelming and I will tell you why. We are a first form Pokemon with a 285 base stat total, and we are incredibly slow, with only 25 of those points being for speed. So we're probably not outspeeding much, which isn't ideal. Our HP is also pretty bad, but our defences are somewhat reasonable, I suppose, for what we are. Best stat is our attack by a mile at 70. 285 base stat total is the same as Chingling, Morlul and Riolu. However, what is really going to hurt us is our typing, as Bug and Grass is not a good type combination. We have 6 weaknesses, 2 of them being quad weaknesses to Flying and Fire, which are the mid-game gyms. We're also weak to Poison, Rock, Bug and Ice. Oh dear. Actually though, we do have 5 resistances, including 2 quad resistances to Ground and Grass, as well as regular resistance to Fighting, Water and Electric. Depending on the ability we get, we may be able to get an immunity to Water as well. What about our moveset then? It's not too bad. We do get Slash, which could be useful. Giga Drain might also be useful, but we are very much more a physical attacker than a special one. But I suppose I might be able to combo it with Growth. Spore may be handy, everything else I'm not sold on. Via TM we can at least get some coverage. I might need Bullet Seed for the first gym. Hidden Power could be vital depending on what type we get, but there is also Return, there's Dig, there's Sludge Bomb, Aerial Ace, Thief and Rock Smash in there. Some of them aren't prime moves, but any coverage can be hot. I have no idea where the Sludge Bomb TM is in this game now I think about it. There are a few move tutor moves, but most of the best ones are post-game in the Battle Frontier, so not helpful. As was last week, this challenge was suggested by Patreon Jason Kamenuk. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comments section down below, or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Thanks for watching folks. As always, if you enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Let's get this on! Universal Pokemon Randomizer time, and I choose to replace Trico with Paris so that I can do the whole run with it. I chose to replace Trico so that the rival would get Torchic, which is the hardest for us to fight. We are very flammable, it is worth pointing out. We save Professor Birch from getting mauled by some of the local wildlife, and as a reward we get given our Mushroom Parasite. The Zigzagoon, not a problem. We nickname our Paris Fun Guy because of the mushrooms, but also because I can't really think of much else on the spot. I spent how long planning these videos, by the way? Our Paris, I'm probably going to alternate between how I pronounce it over the course of the video, between Paris and Paras, has the Effect Spore ability. So, no water immunity with dry skin, but at least we're not more flammable. We also have the quirky nature, so neutral stat gains all around. Okay then, that's not too bad. I guess we'll go and train for a bit. As I do some EV training on Zigzagoon and Poochyena to gain speed and attack, let's look at what we've got in the early game. The Rock Gym could be easy, but it could also be problematic. We can get Bullet Seed before then, which will work wonders on the Geodude, but any rock attacks we get hit with will be super effective. Very much not good. But the Fighting Gym after shouldn't be too bad at least. The Electric Gym after could go either way, but of course there are rival fights between now and then, and here is the one with May. Now, sooner or later, that Torchic and its evolutions might become a problem, but here it doesn't have any super effective moves for us, so it's a simple matter for the two of us to just scratch away at each other. Torchic does hit a crit scratch, but it doesn't become a problem and we soon take it down and give ourselves a win and can move on. It's not long before we move into Rustboro City and we've got the battle with Roxanne ahead. So, just remember what I said about being weak to rock type moves earlier. That is possibly going to be something that costs us. I am worried about the Nose Pass, but I think we should be able to handle the Geodude quite easily enough. I am right on that part, the Geodude are both easy to deal with. Bullet Seed is a quad effective move. They have low special defense and it hurts them real bad. Taking out the first one with 2 blasts before the second one doesn't do any sort of better, and also goes down to a pair of Bullet Seed blasts. And then Nose Pass. It actually outspeeds us right at the start and goes for Harden, but we use Stun Spore to slow it down, and then we start firing Bullet Seeds at it. Though we never get a high roll in terms of the amount of times that they hit. It's annoying, I'll say that. I hate multi-hit moves. It misses 2 Rock Tombs on us, which is just fantastic because when we finally do get hit by one, it hurts pretty badly. She starts using healing items on it because Bullet Seed doesn't quite knock it out, right up until the point we do crit one of the moves and bring it down for the victory and badge number 1. We save Pico and then we have the battle with May at the exit to Rustboro City, and I wonder if her starter has a fire type move yet. I hope not, because we might be about to get screwed up for the first time if that's the case. Anyway, up first is Lotad, and this one isn't even close to being an issue as we one-shot it with a super effective stab leech life. So that happened, and then is Torchic, who immediately outspeeds and hits Ember, which takes out most of our health, and worse, we can't one-hit it with Scratch. I am expecting a loss, but we do outspeed on the next turn and take it out with a second Scratch to get victory. Words fail me. Must have been a speed type, I guess. We have the Fighting Gym next, and this one shouldn't be too bad in theory, I guess, but we'll see how the practice actually plays out. I wish we got a way to boost our regular attack, but I don't think that we do, or at least not one that I've worked out yet anyway. I don't know how it's going to go, we'll have to find out. This effort is exceptionally grueling and it ultimately comes to nothing. The problem is that they all have bulk up, and as a result, not only do we hit less hard with physical attacks, we take more damage, even from not very effective moves. Mach-Up is very annoying because it just takes so long to bring down. It reaches the point where it's bulked up so much that I resort to Bullet Seed rather than Scratch, but even then, it's not even close to being much good. And if we're honest, Bullet Seed is turning out to be a hindrance, since the law of averages insists on screwing you over. When you need to hit it 3 times, it will hit a grand total of twice, and the opponent will survive on red health, presumably giving you a middle finger while it does. By the time we do bring Mach-Up down, we've taken some damage, but nothing major. Meditite isn't even particularly pleasant. It spams bulk up a lot and it even throws up a reflect, so we're really not doing a lot of damage with our physical moves now. Bit annoying considering I was using Leech Life to try and restore our health back up to max, since we did take some damage from Mach-Up, but that health recovery becomes slower and slower as time goes by. At least it can't hurt us if we keep on landing blows, because the only move it has that can deal damage is Focus Punch. Brawly does make questionable life choices sometimes. Last is Makihita, and when this thing starts using bulk up, it can be scary, particularly when we start getting hit with boosted attacks. Vital Throw hurts us badly. Worse, it has both a Citrus Berry, and Brawly still has a super potion for this fight, so although we do trade blows, although we do hurt it, we are on a hiding to nothing. Effect Spore never kicks in either, but I don't know if it has Guts as an ability or not, so that might not be a particularly preferable circumstance. It feels like this does take ages, but eventually we do go crashing down for the first loss. So, let's train up a bit and come back. At level 28, I do come back, and we've got a bit more power behind us now. I figure that I can probably form up a strategy to win, so we will have to see if it pays off or not. Stopping them powering up is key. Let's do this. So, it goes incredibly better thanks to some liberal use of Spore. We drop one on Mach-Up and put it to sleep. It never wakes up, and we can dually claw away at it repeatedly with Scratch until it goes down in a probably bloody pile. Meditite also gets put to sleep with Spore, but it doesn't stay asleep for long and wakes up to use Bulk Up. But even as it tries to go for Focus Punch, we strike it down with a crit before Makihita is last. Again, we hit it with Spore and it never wakes up, meaning we can scratch away at it without any sort of fear. I mean, it does somehow eat the berry in its sleep, but that's not enough to save it. Wonder how sleep eating works. We get the second badge anyway. Up next is the Cycling Road rival fight, and this is probably going to be absolutely horrible. I can see that for sure. It usually is. There's going to be a combustion, and I don't think there's any way we outspeed it, so we are probably going to get hurt badly. She begins with a Wingull, and it outspeeds us to hit a wing attack for decent damage, but less than I thought. This doesn't fill me with confidence as we drop it with Slash. Then it's Combustion, and I hope we can survive an attack as we go for Spore. Somehow we outspeed, and I have no idea how, and put it to sleep, meaning we can take it down with 2 slashes and it never wakes up. I'm not sure what just happened, but I'll take it. Last is Lombre, and a single Leech Life brings it down, and we can move on into Morville for the Electric Gym. Before anything else, I head into Rydell's, and I took the Acro bike, since if I didn't say which bike I took, you'd probably ask. Actually, if you wanted to ask, you could do it in the comment section anyway, since apparently they're good for that mysterious YouTube algorithm. Not a wholly original bit, I claim no ownership of that joke. I am worried about this next gym, I'm not going to lie. Steel types are probably going to be a worry for us throughout, and there's Watson's Magneton shortly, which will be bad. There's also Winona's Skarmory later, which will probably be worse. It almost goes so well. Voltorb is faster and hits Rollout, which isn't particularly good, especially as it crits, but we drop it with Slash, and thankfully no static paralysis. We outspeed Electrike and drop that with Slash 2. Again, no paralysis. Magneton does outspeed and paralyse us, but we eat our Cherry Berry and put it to sleep with Spore. Then we start hammering into it with Rock Smash to try and bring it down. A defence drop would just be too much to ask for. We don't get one until about the 4th attempt. It does stay asleep at least for a bit, and he does burn 2 Super Potions on it. It doesn't do too much damage with Shockwave when it wakes up, but the Sonic Boom it hits us with near the end of the battle is bad. Manectric is faster, it doesn't stay asleep long enough, and thanks to it paralysing us, we do eventually go down in absolutely heartbreaking circumstances, getting fully paralysed when another hit would have brought it down. I really hate this fight, I'm not going to lie. Also, I hate that Rock Smash is also 20 base power. People criticise later Pokemon games, but no HMs is the single greatest quality of life improvement. Now, if they could get rid of the need to trade to evolve and complete the Pokédex, I'd be exceptionally happy too there. Anyway, I'm going to go and train. At level 41, let's see how this goes. The training isn't wasted because not only do I think we'll struggle against Maxie, I don't think we'll be able to beat Flannery until at least level 55, at least. In this fight anyway, Voltorb is still faster, but doesn't crit the rollout this time, and we take it out with Slash, so that's a nice start. Electrike goes down to Slash, and in the next round of the fight, we are faster than Magneton this time. We can put it to sleep with Spore, and it never wakes up. So, the caveat is that we can just keep hammering into it with Rock Smash, and we actually get an early defence drop this time, and despite Watson trying to save it with a Super Potion, it doesn't stay up for very much longer, and we can bring it down with no sort of negative consequences, meaning we're completely healthy going into Manectric. It does Thunder Wave us, but our Berry sorts that, and we put it to sleep with Spore, and then slash away at it repeatedly, until it ceases to become a threat. It does do the sleep eating of a berry, but never an issue. The next major fight is the Mount Chimney Maxi fight, and this is going to be rough too, I feel. There is the intimidating Mightyena, with the possibility of a side of Sand Attack. There's a Zubat that will probably outspeed, and a Fire-type Camerupt as well. So, I think we are going to need to be way stronger to get over here. Awesome fortune with crits for sure. I misjudged something, but it doesn't cost us. We outspeed Mightyena after being intimidated and also get Sand Attacked, but we can take it out with 2 slash attacks. So, it hasn't cost us just quite yet. Maybe I should have spored it. Next is Camerupt, and we go for a Spore and land it. Plus, we do mess it up quite badly with some slash attacks to the point that he has to heal it. Yet, when it comes to landing the killing blow, our accuracy fails us, and there is the chance for it to wake up and land an ember for well over half our health before we bring it down. One wing attack from Zubat could be fatal, but we outspeed and land our slash to bring it down, and we can take the victory. I don't fancy this battle later on when the Zubat evolves, but so far, so good. Time for the fire gym then, and this is likely to be horrific. I think I'm probably going to need to take it slowly and spore the heavy hitters just to avoid being flat out murdered. Slugma and Numel shouldn't be too bad, but Torkoal and Camerupt are liable to be lethal if something goes wrong, so we need to be careful. Anyway, it goes sort of okay for the most part, but finishes badly. Numel is a one hit with Slash, and then she goes for Camerupt. We put it to sleep, but then one hit crit it with Slash, so probably still did need the sleep because I can't really bank on crits. Slugma goes down to Slash, and then it's Torkoal. We put it to sleep with Spore and then hit Slash for about a third, only for her to wake up and one hit us from full health with Overheat. Okay, that didn't go well. That was unfortunate, let's try that again. I make a few tries, but either the sleep doesn't last long enough or we can't get enough hits in to bring down the Torkoal without it waking up and one hitting us. I made the prediction of level 55, so the fact that we are that close at a lower level means I'm going to train a bit more to tip us over the edge. We come back in and fight our way through, downing Numel, Camerupt and Slugma in single hits of Slash. So we are doing more damage this time, and then we put the Torkoal to sleep, and our first Slash does well over half, so we are probably going to win as long as it stays asleep. It does, and we cut it up to give us a win and the 4th badge. I could maybe have done that at a lower level, but I will probably need those levels before long, so I don't consider it wasted time. The next major fight is the one with Norman, and all things considered, this might not be that bad. I mean, I need to remember that we probably won't be able to put Vigoroth to sleep, but I think it should be fine. Let's find out. First half is straightforward. Second part starts to take some thinking. Spinder is a single hit takeout with Slash, and when Vigoroth comes out, it is faster and hits us, but we do strike back to take it out with Slash. Linoon is faster and hits a headbutt, but we can't quite take it out with a single Slash, meaning that Norman burns both his hyper potions on it. I know it is faster, but when we have the free turn, I neglect to use Spore, which is a questionable choice, especially as we are hitting it with Giga Drain to get health back. We get tagged with a Slash before we take it out. Versus Slacking, we put it to sleep with Spore and then get a defense drop with Rock Smash, which is nice, but given we appear to be faster, I am somewhat worried about hitting it with physical attacks, since it does have counter, I believe. Last thing I need is for it to wake up and bang us for double the damage we just inflicted on it, so I use Giga Drain on it instead to inflict damage. It does take a few turns, but eventually we do get it into kill range and drop it with Slash for a 5th badge. Let's do some Paris trivia, and it's probably worth mentioning that they are aggressive little sods in Legends Arceus. And on the subject of Legends, Pokemon Day happened while I was doing this. If you want my thoughts on the new announcement from there about the new Legends game, well, I might drop it at the end of the video. Early English promotional material for Red and Blue listed this Pokemon's name as Parasite, with a Y instead of an I. In Gen 1, poison moves were super effective against bug types, meaning this evolution line is the only Pokemon ever to have 3 quad weaknesses. No other Pokemon has the same egg group combination as Paras and Parasect. They are also the only bug-type Pokemon in the Grass egg group. Paras and Parasect share their species name with Shroomish, Breloom, Foongus and Amoongus. They are all known as the Mushroom Pokemon. They can all learn Spore, they can all have Effect Spore as an ability. In Pokemon Go, they all give more Stardust than most other Pokemon upon capture. It can be seen as a counterpart to Morlul, as both share the grass type, the same base stat total as we mentioned at the start of the video, both evolve at level 24, both are mushroom based Pokemon that can learn Spore, and both can be found in the wild in Sun and Moon, taking the place of the other, with Paras being found during the day and Morlul at night. In concept, this Pokemon could be inspired by ants that are infected with mushroom spores that take control of the host ant's brain and sprout from its head and back, or even a genus of fungi, which include species that specifically infect cicadas. Those mushrooms, according to various Pokédex entries, are named Tochukaso. I'm probably going to murder that pronunciation. Those mushrooms are highly valued as a medicine for extending life. The Legends Arceus Pokédex states that mushrooms aren't present on infant specimens and instead emerge as the Pokemon matures, which would be fine unless you've ever seen an egg of one hatch. There is a May fight after the Weather Institute, and it will be a nice warm-up ahead of the Flying Gym. Perhaps the highlight is that I don't have to do the Flying Gym just quite yet, but it just means I have to take the long walk around if I want to go back to Foray City. The May fight isn't a problem, I just make sure to take it carefully, sporing the Pelipper and taking it out with 2 slash attacks. I don't know if we'll one-hit it and we don't, and if it has a flying type move or not, but better not to take chances. Combusken is a one-hit takeout with slash, but I did spore it to sleep beforehand, just to be on the safe side. It is raining, so I don't want to take unnecessary chances with the fire or flying moves it might have. Lombre hits Fake Out and Nature Power, but we shrug them off and drop it with Slash for a victory, and we move on. I do get rid of Rock Smash and see what type our hidden power is, just out of curiosity, and we immediately discover versus a Loudred that it doesn't affect the normal type, so I can draw the conclusion that our hidden power is Ghost type. Interesting, but not entirely useful perhaps. Mind you, I'll keep it in mind. That might be handy for the 7th gym and the Phoebe fight, we will see. Before I head back to Foray City to fight Winona, I decide to do the Lilycove City rival fight. I throw caution to the wind on this one and decide to go toe to toe with her. Tropius is out first and survives our slash, so this might well have been a bad idea. It hits Stomp and then we finish it off. I'm curious about the amount of times Effect Spore has actually triggered on this run. Pelipper survives Slash and hits us reasonably hard with Wing Attack before deciding to stall us with Protect, which is largely annoying, but we do eventually take it down. Combusken goes down to a single Slash before the final Pokemon, the Ludicolo, is out and we strike it with a crit Slash to give us victory. I'm going to fight Winona now, and my big worry, as I mentioned earlier, is Skarmory. Get that thing out of the way and we should be fine, so I put Rock Smash back on, just purely because it might be a decent option, purely for the defense drop, possibly, but I kinda also feel like Slash might still cause more damage, so it's a balancing act. I will need to utilise Spore as much as I can, because being hit with flying type moves doesn't fill me with an entire amount of joy. Swablu is easy. We strike it with a slash and bring it down for a quick knockout, before Pelipper is next. We put it to sleep. Funny how it never screws around with using Protect or any of them that I've fought in this run, and Pelipper survives a slash on red health, which means that we get her to waste a hyper potion, so that's a relief. It doesn't survive the next slash and we take it out. Tropius is next and we go with the combination of Spore and Slash to take it out, meaning that we never take any damage. Of them all, Tropius wasn't the one I was concerned about. Altaria is next. We Spore it to put it to sleep and then go for a Slash, but she switches into Skarmory and we do about a quarter of its health. Not bad, I'll say that. We put it to sleep and then go on the assault with Rock Smash, getting 2 defense drops with the move when we use it, and it is a simple matter to finish the Metal Bird off from there on out. That went way better than I thought it would be. Last is Altaria. It's healed from its sleep, but not for long as we Spore it again, then hit a Slash. She does try and waste our time with a hyper potion, and we have to keep on slashing away at it, but it isn't long before we bring the Altaria down and we get the victory and the 6th badge. Result! That went way better than I thought it would. The next major fight is the Maxi one in the Magma Hideout, but as we walk there, let's talk about what is ongoing with the channel. There hasn't been much Let's Play stuff uploaded recently. I've been chilling out and taking stuff easy. Doesn't mean I haven't been recording, just that I've not been uploading. Been working through playing Batman Arkham Asylum, got like 7 episodes of that already, so I'll be firing that out rapid fire soon when I've finished it. Finding the time to do it at the moment, because the only time I really get is after work when I've got the house to myself, and lately I've been feeling exhausted after work, so it's not always been something that I do. I'm enjoying that game though, that's for sure. It's certainly held up well for a 15-year-old game, something like that. There has been Pokemon Master Showdown though. We had Carmine versus Chairman Rose a few weeks back. We had Clavel versus Noland last week. And we've got Hop versus Cheron upcoming on the next round. I am enjoying that as well. I encourage you to check that series out if you haven't done so. Challenge wise, next time there's another Gen 3 challenge as we scoot over to Pokemon Fire Red and we see if I can beat it with a single Wingull. Hey, that rhymed. That one has the potential to be interesting. It's one I've wanted to do for a while. As always folks, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description to Twitter, Discord, and there's also a Patreon link down there. I've got like a year's worth of submissions to go through, got stuff planned up until the end of September, and also the Halloween challenge planned out. But bar the Wingull challenge next week, it's all stuff that viewers have sent in, either on the comments or the Discord. If I carry on with 2 week blocks, as I have been doing, I've got 6 empty spaces left to fill for the year, so we'll see. If there's an idea you've got, go for it, fire it in, and it'll probably get done this year. Maxi battle in the volcano then, and at least the consistency stays in these arenas. On top of a volcano for the first fight, in a volcano for the second fight, Space Center for the third fight. One of these doesn't match, that escalated quickly. I am a little worried for sure because there's going to be a Crobat and I don't think we're going to outspeed that. But I might be surprised, I have been before for sure. Anyway, the battle begins versus the mighty Hoenn and we get intimidated right at the start. I'd still love to know why, for a team wanting to expand the land and the sea, teams Magma and Aqua have this obsession with bats and dogs. We put Mighty Hoenn to sleep, then take it out with a series of slashes after Maxi heals it from the first slash. Camerupt is next, and again we put it to sleep before taking it out with a few slash attacks. But the good thing is that we are getting him to waste his super potions. Crobat does outspeed and hit Air Cutter, but we spore it, and then again we go on the slash offensive to cut it down with a few of them. I feel like I might want to upgrade to return sooner or later though. After much travelling, the next major battle is the Psychic Gym, and I genuinely have no idea how this might play out. I was wanting to build a Shell Bell, but have to wait for the tide to come in, so I figure I might as well head over and give it a try right now to see how we do versus Tate and Liza. So this happened. We get outsped by Xatu, which, not entirely a surprise, and it duly Mind Blasts Wynaut out of existence with a Psychic attack. I have to use the Wynaut here because I can't go in with only one Pokemon, but we down the bird with a crit slash. Okay, one down, let's go and face Solrock, which has fire moves, so this is insanely dangerous. Our Miracle Seed boosted Giga Drain absolutely wrecks it. The bonus in all of this is that Claydol's Earthquake, normally so dangerous, doesn't even hurt us slightly, so we can shrug those off all day. I think it's a programming thing. With Solrock down, Lunatone comes out and again we Giga Drain it to turn it into a one-on-one versus Claydol, and we don't quite knock the Claydol out with Giga Drain. It does start with the Psychic attacks which do way more damage, and if it had done that from the start we'd have probably lost. Oh well, the AI is exceptionally screwy here, it would seem. The point comes where, after they heal it, we take it out with Hidden Power and Giga Drain for the 7th badge. Result, I guess. After travelling, the next major fight is the Archie one in the Undersea Cavern, and I'd say this one has potential to also be worrying because, once again, there's a Crobat involved. Still, we should be okay, I guess. We've already fought 2 Crobats by this point, so third time is the charm. None of them have tried to confuse us, so that's good. We put the mighty Hoenn to sleep and we go on the attack with return, crashing a few of them into the dark doggo and bringing it down, even after Archie heals it. The Crobat is next, and it's another air cutter, and we do at least shrug that off. We take less than half, so I'll take that. But we put it to sleep and we start hitting returns. Again, there is a hyper potion that comes into play, but it never wakes up, and we soon bring it down to give us another knockout and take us into the battle with Sharpedo. It outspeeds us and hits Slash, but our Giga Drain wrecks it hard, takes it down and gives us most of our health back. So, we get the win and can move on. After more travelling, there is the Hoenn fight, and this should sound simple enough in practice, but I'm not convinced. There's always problems with the Kingdra. It will have an ice attack too, so that's an issue. This is possibly when Dry Skin would have been useful as an ability, but I'm not sure how much fortune we will have here, so we'll need to see. Love Disc can be a pain at the start and proves to be a gain as we get outsped and hit with Water Pulse. And to the absolute surprise of nobody in the room, Water Pulse immediately confuses us. We hit ourselves in confusion and also get hit with Attract, so it's really going well so far. But before long, we battle through both confusion and infatuation and drop it with return. We use Spore on the Celio just in case, and then we take it down with a Giga Drain for an easy win, before Kingdra is next. We are immediately hit with an Ice Beam, but it does less than half and we Spore it. But, of course, it has the Chesto Berry and wakes up straight away, but at least we've neutralised that. Second turn, we do get it to go to sleep, but not before it has gone for Double Team. We go on the Assault, we land every single return we throw at it, which is a relief. Even after Hoenn heals it to bring it back to full health, we eventually take it down, which is a relief. Next is Whiscash, and a Giga Drain does it in. Quad effective damage, health recovered to pretty much max, thank you very much. And our Giga Drain also ends Crawdont too, and just like that, we have the win and we can move on towards Victory Road. Eventually, we get to the point where we have to fight Wally instead at Victory Road, and I'm somewhat indifferent about our chances of losing here. We should be okay. Should be okay. I mean, again, Magneton might be rough and the Altaria might be a problem, but we'll probably be okay. This fight is annoying but not difficult. I mean, he likes to play annoying games throughout, and you'll soon see why, as he shamelessly abuses one of his Pokemon's abilities. He begins with Altaria, and we put it to sleep with Spore. Return on the next turn, and we'll be sitting pretty. Right up until he switches into Roselia, and we take that out with Return instead. Okay, fair enough, one down. He brings Altaria back in, and once again, we Spore it, and once again, he decides to switch. This time into Delcatty, who gets hit by the return that was meant for Altaria and goes down to the attack. Once again, Altaria comes in, we put it to sleep again, and he switches it out again, bringing in Magneton, who we down with 2 returns. It never gets the chance to attack, and we can take it out with little difficulty. Altaria is back out, we Spore it, guess what happens? He switches, bringing in the Gardevoir, who also gets hit by the return and goes down in a crumpled heap, meaning the Altaria has nowhere left to run. There's no other Pokemon on his team for him to use as shields. This time, after we've put it to sleep, it actually survives return on a Slither, so that sleep was probably justified, because who knows what might have happened if we'd been hit with an attack. A hidden power and a return take it out after he full restores it. But that bird just did not want to stay asleep, huh? Thank you, Wally, for making it a dozen times more irritating than it needed to be. Going through Victory Road, we've got the Elite Four ahead, and this could be completely unpleasant, I fear. I mean, look at it this way. Sydney always feels like he's more irritating than he needs to be, thanks to the mighty Hoenn at the start with the Intimidate, and that really messes us up for the rest of the fight. I wish the tutor who does Swords Dance wasn't post-game, that would make the Elite Four so much easier. Shiftry, Captain and Crawdont aren't usually too bad if they don't get the chance to power up, but the Absol has the potential to be nasty with that pressure ability. Phoebe is likely to be a horrific opponent thanks to the Ghost types, thanks to the pressure ability, thanks to Protect Stall at the start, and the only really useful move we get being that ghost type hidden power. Glacier is an ice type specialist and kinda has a type advantage against us, which isn't good. And Drake, well, there's a litany of super effective things he can hit us with across most of his team. Notably Shelgon with Rock Tomb, Salamence and Flygon with fire attacks, and Altaria with aerial ace. So, yeah, really not looking forward to this. Wallace might actually be the easiest of them all. Think I'll need to be at max level, think I may need double team for the back half of it. At Evergrande City, we've just got to cover our stats ahead of the run on the Elite Four, and here they are. Attack is pretty decent, defense stats are a bit meh, but even the special attack isn't entirely bad, which could be good with Giga Drain for health recovery. Speed is a problem. Even if we shoot up the next 15 levels to maximum, I'm not entirely sure we'll hit 3 figures in speed. Our speed is lower than our level, which is never a great sign. Take your guesses on whether I can do it at this level or not. Right now, folks, let's get this on. Dark type trainer Sydney is first, and we should be able to get through this, but who knows. At least we have some way to manage the mighty Hoenn though, so that is something for sure. It's something more than we normally have come this point. A first attempt goes badly, but a second one works out reasonably well as we spore the mighty Hoenn to put it to sleep, and then hit it with a trio of returns. Sydney healing it up, which I will say is somewhat annoying. At least with it being asleep, we don't get hit with sand attack, so that's a small mercy, as that's where the first effort went wrong. Absol is next, it outspeeds and hits aerial ace, but we put it to sleep and take it out with 2 returns, which, given it has pressure as an ability, is pretty annoying. The berry does at least take it out of healing range though. We put Shiftry to sleep so it can't double team, but it does wake up pretty swiftly, but we do take it out with 2 returns at least, before the Cacturn wastes our time further by surviving on red health and Sydney drops a full restore on it. Not pleasant. Crawdont we at least drop with a Giga Drain with no problem, so we have at least made it through 1 battle. I think I'm going to need to be stronger though. I think Phoebe brings us to a halt. We are going to find out if that's the case though, since she is the next opponent and I'm really not looking forward to it, but it has got to be done. Hidden Power does not do a lot unfortunately on the first Dusclops, and since that's the only real move we can get to tackle it, that is a problem. I mean, there are other moves, but none of them that are really an improvement for sure. 2 of them are enough to take out Dusclops number 1, but that's 4 PP down thanks to pressure. We put the second Dusclops to sleep with Spore and then free hit it with Hidden Power, the berry taking it out of healing range, so that is infinitely preferable to her using a full restore. Bayonet number 1 does burn us with Will-O-Wisp, but we do 2 hit it with Hidden Power, so also a relief. We put Sableye to sleep and hit a Giga Drain, which does massive damage, but after it goes for double team, it also survives Hidden Power, which not ideal because then she heals it, and we have to use 2 more Giga Drains to bring down the Sableye, eating into our PP. The last Bayonet comes out, and we can take it out with Hidden Power and Giga Drain, but that was an annoying fight for sure. I always seem to find Phoebe fights irritating, and I'm not entirely sure why. Glacier then, and I can't help but wonder how this goes, but we'll have to see I suppose. There's a lot of water types in a diverse team, but we are weak to ice, so it's just swings and roundabouts I guess. I don't think it'll be too problematic though if we are careful. We face the first Celio and it's just about bulky enough to survive return and put up Hail. She immediately heals it, but we can take it out with 2 more returns. We spore the second Celio to put it to sleep and then we take it out with 2 returns because she doesn't heal it this time, before Walrein is third. We spore it and then crit our return to take it out in a single blow, which really nice because that thing is bulky. Glalie number 1 is next, it goes for light screen and then we put it on red health with return. I have a feeling she's going to heal, so I go for Spore after she uses the full restore and then we take it down with 2 returns. Second Glalie puts the Hail back up, but we put it to sleep and then we can strike it with a series of returns to end the fight as a contest. Drake then is last, and after after a dozen attempts, this really does bring us to a halt, and it's usually a combination of Flygon, Altaria or Salamence that does us in. Shelgon isn't an issue, it's just a bit annoying because of the joy that it takes in using Protect, and plus it has a Rock Tomb, which not only does super effective damage but slows us down, and that isn't good. Flygon and Salamence have Flamethrower and Altaria has Aerial Ace, so they are more than capable of hitting us for quad super effective damage. I will have to come back later at a higher level. At level 96 it still can't be done, and believe me, I did make a handful of efforts to see if it could or not, so I come back at level 100 and make the final efforts at this. And even then, it's still not entirely an easy thing because I need double team. I need 6 of them, and it's not always clear cut then either because, remember, Altaria does have Aerial Ace which never misses. Anyway, 6 double teams against Shelgon. We have to keep it asleep because getting hit by a Rock Tomb isn't going to be pleasant. It's more time consuming than anything, and that's the really annoying thing. But we do get hit by a Rock Tomb, unfortunately. But at least Shelgon soon goes down. Flygon misses attacks on us and we never get hit with Flamethrower as we repeatedly crash into it with return attacks, and soon it goes down despite him healing it. I give up on trying to spore Altaria. We've seen throughout that this isn't an entirely viable option. We just have to weather 2 Aerial Aces instead and take it down with 2 returns. But now our health is low as we go into the fight with Salamence, and one move it lands will probably end us. However, it misses a series of moves and we just keep on throwing return attacks at it. Our attack is down to Intimidate and we do manage to bring it down eventually. We spore Kingdra at the end and take it out with return and Giga Drain. Thankfully it wastes its only chance to move with a Dragon Dance. On to the champion then. It's time for Wallace, and I feel reasonably confident about this all, given we are part grass type, so that's going to give us somewhat of an advantage. Water types ain't got nothing on us, but it is worth remembering that some of them do have ice and poison moves, so that's something for us to be aware of. Case in point, Wailord. We do put it to sleep and spore it repeatedly to keep it asleep, while we do get our 6 double teams up. No point in taking chances. It does wake up a few times but only goes for Rain Dance in the first attempt and misses a Blizzard at the second attempt, while we pound at it with return attacks, cutting into that massive HP bar. Next is Milotic and we put it to sleep and then one-shot it with return, getting a crit. Thankfully it missed Toxic on us. That was handy because that probably would have been beyond us to win from that point. Tentacruel is next. It outspeeds and hits Sludge Bomb, but we spore it and one-hit it with return for an immediate knockout, before the next opponent is Ludicolo. Ludicolo survives return but goes for double team. Wallace heals it and then there's a bit of messing around as we get hit with Surf and miss a return, but it soon goes down, thankfully. That was a bit worrying. And then Whiscash comes out and immediately we one-hit that with Giga Drain. So that wasn't an issue even slightly. Last is Gyarados. He goes for Dragon Dance and we spore it. Our return and Giga Drain puts it on red health, prompting a full restore, which is annoying as we have to go again, but it never hits us. We land our returns to take it out and there you have it. We've won the run, we've beaten the champion, and we can go off into the Hall of Fame to declare ourselves victorious. Let this psychotic mushroom ant reign supreme. Well then, was that as bad as I thought it would be? Well, I would take a stab at Steven, but I genuinely think there's no chance we get past that Skarmory he opens with, so I am happy to draw a line under this and move on. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, do the usual, please leave a like, drop a comment and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Help the channel grow. It's pretty good for the algorithm, as they do say. Either way, thanks for watching folks. Join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge as we stay in Gen 3 and we head to Pokemon Fire Red to see if I can beat it with just a single Wingull. Quite apt really, as the day before I finished recording the gameplay for this challenge you've just watched, I spent a day at the coast with my girlfriend and saw plenty of seagulls. Trust me on this, if you've not seen one for a while, they are big buggers. I never saw one evolve into a pelican though. We're looking to go away Easter weekend, so we'll see how that one works out. Okay, so I said I'd talk about the new Legends game, Legends ZA, and I am stoked for it. Legends Arceus was something I really enjoyed, so I can't wait to see how this one plays out. I mean, I have heard it is just confined to Lumio City, and I'm a little worried about how that might work, rather than being an open world Carlos, but we'll have to see. It's not a deal breaker in concept, because let's face it, I'll buy it, I'll play it on the channel. I'm not sure I'd have bought a Gen 5 remake done by the same people who did BDSP, so they've got my money there. I really wasn't fussed about BDSP, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, for Legends ZA, I am looking forward to seeing about the execution. I did buy Brilliant Diamond, I started playing it on the channel but got fed up very quickly. I'd done that too often too recently, albeit with arguably inferior graphics. I say arguably because the chibi style wasn't for everybody. I've been doing challenges in Pokemon Pearl about that point, before I graduated to Platinum for my recent Sinnoh challenges. But yeah, ZA, Z through A, whatever we're calling it, I await more info with interest. Mega Evolution is coming back too by the looks, so that's something. I did like Mega Evolution, I liked it far more than Z-Moves, I liked it far more than Gigantamax, because Gigantamax was not the best in my humble opinion. I really didn't like that one as a mechanic. It made it slower, it made it irritating, that's my take on it. I'm going to jump off now anyway folks, so thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed, take care, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye bye, so long, see ya, take care.